Hey, Zach here from Frontenac Outfitters Canoe and Kayak Center. Today we are having a look at the Jackson Kayak Tupelo 12.5. So in case you don't know or you're wondering, Tupelo, we literally just looked it up, is a city in Mississippi. Anyway, moving on. So the Jackson Tupelo, it is a awesome recreational kayak, whether you just starting out and you want something that's super safe and easy, not too heavy, not too big, really stable. You can fish out of it. You can take your dog, you can take your kid, you can pack for a weekend. I mean, this boat is probably a winner or should be high on your list of contenders if those criteria are what you're looking for. All right, starting up here at the bow, we've got a nice heavy duty carry handle. It is removable. It's not integrated right into the boat, but it is going to provide a lot of support. You can use this to carry the boat. This is what it's for. The shape of the bow does have a bit of a flare here. Not a lot of rocker on this kayak, so that's that banana shape. And it's generally a good thing on recreational kayaks. A long keel style waterline is going to help the kayak paddle relatively straight and track well, which is what we want in a recreational kayak. Generally, these are targeted more towards beginners or, new paddlers, and we want them to have a good experience, an easy to paddle experience, and the Tupelo is going to answer that for them for sure. Coming back, we've got some really nice, shapes on the deck here. The graphics look great. We've got a little bit of bungee here to store some stuff underneath. Got a little removable screw here, which is, you'll find this on their whitewater kayaks, and you can actually attach a GoPro mount on here to attach a camera to record yourself or what you're paddling, which is kind of a cool option too. What I really like about this kayak, which we don't see on a lot of recreational kayaks, is the implementation of the gear track. And this T-slot track can be used for all kinds of different purposes. You're gonna find all kinds of accessories from like Yak Attack or Ram that are gonna have special mounts that fit into this T-slot, so you can attach all kinds of different configurations of equipment to it, mainly fishing rod holders, camera holders, phone holders. And we've got plenty of gear track all over the place on this kayak so that we can utilize it for many different things without having to do much in the way of modifications. Coming further back in, nice big opening on this kayak, easy to get in and out of, fairly wide throughout the beam. On our right hand side here, we've got a paddle holder. So that's what this guy here is. You can lay your paddle in across the side, clip it in with using that bungee. And again, if you're just out relaxing, maybe doing some fishing, that's gonna hold your paddle, keep it nice and secure and at hand. Inside we have a pillar, a foam pillar, and what that does is, one, it adds flotation. Two, it adds support and structure to the top of the kayak here so that it's not going to kind of flex in, and it gives the kayak some support. We have our adjustable foot pedals on the inside here, which are on a track, super easy to adjust, whether it's on the fly or before you go out. You can just pinch that handle, slide it back and forth to make the adjustments you need to get comfortable. So here we've got some foam thigh pads or knee pads, and your legs basically can brace against these. Also, what I find is when I'm solo carrying the kayak and I put it on my shoulder, these are kind of right in the perfect position to take that load and balance it and give me some comfort without digging into my shoulder. Moving back to the seat portion here, it was new this year. They put a molded style seat in with some foam padding on here. It's, fairly thin foam pad. It's not, overly plush and comfortable. Easy to modify, by putting an extra waterproof cushion of some type in there, whether it's the Jackson Sweet Cheeks or beanbag style seat cushion that's fully moldable. Really cool option. I don't know, can we throw a link to in the description of the Sweet Cheeks? I don't talk about it often, but it's pretty cool. They used to have a removable seat in here. Honestly, a little disappointed that they switched over to this, but on the other hand, this is much more secure. It's very structural. It's in there, whereas the other one, definitely there's a little bit of shake in that removable seat, so I can see why the engineers and the designers probably wanted to switch over to this style of seat. So overall, I think it's an improvement. Although I did like having that removable seat you could take out and take it onto the beach and use it as a bit of a beach chair, which you can't do in this one, but not a big deal. The seat still has a lot of comfort, has the full adjustability, the high back brace here, so it's nice and comfortable, gives a lot of support. Adjustable using these tri-glides here, to bring up the tension or move the tension back. To ease off. We do have a full bulkhead here, so there's a foam bulkhead, lots of storage area behind, but that's also going to give us a lot of flotation in the stern in the event if we do capsize. There is no bulkhead in the front, so I would recommend putting a float bag or something in the front, just in case if you do capsize, that the kayak's gonna float up nice and high, making a self-rescue or an assisted rescue really easy. Moving a little further back towards the stern, we do have a bit more bungee here we can attach some gear to. Again, the gear track, which I think is an awesome idea. We've got our nice rigid cover. It's gonna be a sealed compartment, has a gasket that goes all the way around. And then finally, we've got our rear carry handle at the back here. So we can flip this guy over and have a look at the hull and some of the shapes on there. All right, so looking at the hull of the kayak, pretty interesting design. You know, it uses almost like a catamaran style, has a nice deep keel on it. I've paddled this kayak a bit and it's stable, it's nice, it's easy to paddle, it turns well, you know, it's a really, really well-behaved recreational kayak. It does all the things you want it to do. When we compare it to other boats in the class, namely like the 12AR from Delta, the Wilderness Systems Pungo, it does feel a little bit less stable on the primary side. And that means when we're sitting flat, you know, how responsive is it? And it's a little more responsive. And honestly, that's not a bad thing because you can actually engage the edges on this kayak easier than what you can on something like the Delta 12AR. And again, these are just little minor differences. It's not a huge thing, but just something I think that's worth pointing out. What I like about the design of this boat is when we do edge it, that water kind of catches into these channels and really helps kind of steer the kayak. So getting some knowledge of how, when we engage edges, what happens to the kayak, definitely worth knowing. As we come out here and flare out to the middle, we do have these kind of two extra, you know, keels on the side, and then our deep keel on the middle here, which does create a lot of stability and a really well handling kayak. All the way down here to the stern, we have this kind of integrated skeg. So this guy here comes out, sits nice and deep in the water. And what this is gonna do is really help track the kayak in a straight direction with minimal, you know, having to fight with the direction of the boat and not having to utilize a rudder. We also have a removable skid plate on here. So if you don't have a tendency to maybe drag the kayak around a little more than you should, this guy here is removable and replaceable. Not that I recommend doing that. So the Jackson Tupelo is 12.5 feet long, hence the 12.5 designation, 29 inches wide. Best suited for your large to extra large paddler just because of the depth of the kayak. This is a really deep boat, so if you don't have a longer torso or kind of a bigger person, you might find that this feels a little big on you. Not saying smaller people can't paddle it. It certainly is a great kayak that almost anybody can get in and enjoy, but certainly gonna fit a larger paddler just a little bit better. So for more information about the Jackson Tupelo, you can hop on the website, frontenacoutfitters.com, or as always, feel free to give us a call or send us an email. If you ever want to test paddle one, you can come visit us here at the shop. As always, thanks a lot for watching.